Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I am Dr. Ajra Yara, and I want to jump right into today's topic, okay? We're going to talk about visa restrictions and all about access and what's really going on. I want to thank you guys. Many of you watched my last video, and we're going to discuss again what I said in that video, potentially what this could mean for us diasporas um, who are leaving, right? We talk about our exit plans here on this channel and leaving the US and living abroad. Primarily right now, I am the founder of the Diaspora Gateway, sorry, and I'm working primarily with people that are going to West Africa, like myself, Ghana, and helping you get your strategies together. Okay. So I got to thinking, guys, and I had a light bulb moment, right? And I don't want to get political on this channel at all, right? It's not for everybody. Everybody's not thinking about leaving the US, but there is a mass exit going on because there's many people that are thinking about leaving the US and are actually doing it, right? So, I wanted to say again, many of you watched that last video. I got a lot of notes, guys. I had a light bulb moment, and we're going to talk about the light bulb moment in a little bit. Um, right now, I want to discuss some other points. I want to get to my pointers that I made. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm kind of going through my notes here. Okay, guys. So, the government often signals change, right? They signal a change before people really feel the impact. So, I mentioned briefly that I had people reaching out to me before this announcement was made in regards to immigration and what was going on with the visas and passports. And there was absolutely nothing out at that time on social media. So, like I said before, I got some profits on here, right? Because the very next morning, just for a recap, is when the 75 countries that banned on immigration visas came out, right? Again, not tourist visas, not business visas, not student visas. We're just talking about immigration. However, I think it's a warning sign, right? And stay with me. So, have you ever noticed how visa restrictions are usually talked about like a travel inconvenience? Like a travel inconvenience, like long lines, paperwork, flights you can't book. These are things that are going on, right? I'm really connected into some other social media platforms, and these things are actually happening, right? I have people in another group that I'm in. They're actually talking about how their paperwork's getting hung up and all all these things that I just mentioned, right? But here's the light bulb moment. Visa restrictions aren't really about travel, guys. Okay, they're about power. Let that sink in for a second. It's about power. A visa decides who gets to move freely and who has to ask for permission, okay? Who is trusted by default and who is treated like a risk before they even arrive. That's not random. Let that sink in. That's not random. When a passport limits where you can go, think about that. It can limit where you can go, right? It quietly limits where you can work, where you can study, who you can collaborate with, and how visible your voice becomes in this world. Mobility, it equals like opportunity, and restricting mobility is one of the cleanest ways. I'm gonna say it again. It's one of the cleanest ways to control opportunity without even saying the word control. Without even saying control. If I can restrict your mobility, I can control you. Let that sink in. All right? Let that sink in. History shows mobility shifts first and then comfort shifts later. Okay? Prepared people don't rush. That's what we do here. Prepared people don't rush, okay? They plan. And we need to really be planning this thing. We got to think this thing all the way through, right? Think about it. Borders aren't just They're not just like lines on a map or filters. They decide which ideas circulate easily and which ones struggle to cross, like which lives are considered global and which are expected to stay local. All those things matter when you start thinking about borders and control and who's really in control. I said before, right now, this is immigration visas, but you have to think and you have to plan is really what you have to do. You have to take a look at this and you have to see how quick that thing snapped. You went to bed on Monday, I'm giving an example. You went to bed on Monday, you woke up Tuesday and everything had changed. And it took effect like January 21st, like you had days. And we already know about the slow motion, right? We know that with that slow motion that was going on, like that was it. That was it. You woke up and that was it. Yeah. All right. So again, I'm talking about preparation. I'm talking about planning. And when guys, when I say preparation and getting your exit plans together, we're not saying that we are like fleeing. We're not saying that this is a panic. It's not any of that. This is calm, thought out, intentional, and you plan it. You plan your exit because there's so many things that goes into that. And you guys know I've already talked about that. They decide which ideas circulate easily, which ones struggle to cross. I think we went over that. Which lives consider global and which are expected to stay local. So when we treat visa restrictions as just a travel issue, we miss the warning signs. And you have to pay attention to the warning signs. If we're not paying attention to the warning signs, this is exactly why when things could potentially shift in the other direction, that's when panic comes in. Because for all of us that are in the United States that are saying we're leaving, right? We're planning our exit, we're doing all the things, we're crossing the T's, we're dotting our I's, we're doing all these things. For us, we're planning, but for the individuals that are not planning, and then something happens, like what happened with this visa restriction, an immigration visa, and how fast it happened, then that's when panic sets in, but we still gonna stay calm. We gonna stay calm over here, okay? Because those systems that control the movement, guys, it often ends with like controlling speech. Okay, there's a lot of controlling speech going on. For those of us on this side, for those of us in the United States, we hear all the controlling speech that goes on, and please understand this is about control. Okay. I know that the reason that was given was that they were halted was because of aid, putting a strain on the different systems that are in place here in the United States, and some of that it could potentially be true, but it's so much deeper than that. It's so much deeper than that. When you start digging into this thing, first of all, with the numbers that were given, they're out there. You can go look them up on the site. Ghana, Jamaica, Thailand. Nope. The numbers were so low for the amount of people that come over from those places that I just named that they did not even have a number to register. But yet, they're in the immigration ban. You got to start digging, guys. You got to start looking and thinking what is really going on and what this could potentially mean for you down the road. When I say you, for those of us that are planning on going to some of these other countries like Ghana, Thailand, Jamaica, all these places, right? This isn't about like wanting a vacation somewhere else. It's about recognizing that freedom of movement is tied to it's tied to freedom itself, basically. And once you see that, then you can't really unsee it. And that's the light bulb moment that I'm talking about, right? Um, we can't unsee what just happened, that how fast it happened. And so again, I want to be very sensitive to the individuals that are were in that process. They were already in that bubble. They were planning. They were in the bubble and had all their paperwork going. Yeah, done. Done, right? And there's not even a date as to when this halt could potentially be lifted. So for those people, this is very real. But what I want to get you to see is that it's real for us as well. And it's real for us diasporas who are wanting to leave the United States for this mass exit that's taking place. It's really a moment where you have to say, okay, I need to be doing X, Y, and Z. I got to be doing X, Y, and Z because I don't know what's going to happen. But if history teaches you anything, it always repeats itself. As we're headed for some trouble, some times, some things are about to take place, and we need to be planning strategically before some of these things take place and while they're taking place. And how do we do that? We get our exit plan together. Um, Again, I want to invite you guys to click on my link in the stand store and take the free assessment. It's free. Where are you in the process of getting your exit plan together? The Diaspora Gateway can help you with that. There's also a ebook there that I mentioned briefly in the video prior to this, and it has a lot of information in it to help you plan your exit plan. That's what we do here. So I want to thank you guys for listening to me ramble, listening to my light bulb moment, letting me go on about that. But I'm serious about that, guys. You really have to think that this thing is so much deeper than the reasons that were mentioned, and you have to think, could we have another moment where we go to bed on a Monday and we wake up on a Tuesday and then there's another restriction on visa on immigration, on visas, tourist visas, visas, student visas. What does this mean? What could the other countries, like for us that are going to Ghana or us that are going to Thailand, Jamaica, what could this mean? What could they say? Could they potentially come back and say, well, you know what? We're just going to halt as well. We're going to do the same thing that you guys are going to do. Tick for a tat. I don't know. I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen, but I'm saying, could it? Where are you with your exit plan? Yeah. I am Dr. Adriara. I am the founder of the Diaspora Gateway, and I encourage you to start your journey on your exit plan. Thank you guys. If you like this content, please like and subscribe as we dig deeper into what all of this means and how you can get your exit plan so that you can do this thing calmly, strategically, and thought out, and you don't leave anything out. Thank you. Until next time, guys. Bye.